Mm-hmm. Come on in, take a breath. Welcome to Carry Less Life.
I just love that. Good morning. Hello. I keep forgetting that I'm talking to you right here, that my camera's here, but my computer's here. So today on Carry Less Live. Listen, the topic today is it doesn't always look like what you thought it was going to look like. And that pivoting is okay. And we're going to get right into it. So I want to say welcome, first of all. If I seem a little flustered, it's because my co-host, Coco, had surgery yesterday. So my name is Chris J. If you're just joining me for the first time, welcome to Carry Less Live. This is your weekly moment of not carrying everything by yourself. And this is one of those days where I have to practice what I preach. And I promise you, it's been a doozy. This week has been a doozy. How has your week been? I like to stream these live because they help to hold me accountable. I am getting better every single week. And shout out to today being day 4 or episode 4. I can't believe it. I didn't know if I was going to be able to pull it off 4 weeks in a row, but here we are. Thank you, God. I want to get into today's topic because today almost didn't happen. Literally, with my dog having to have surgery yesterday, within the last 24 hours, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. So I have some notes. So if you see me look down at my notes and try to figure out my life, just understand that I'm showing up because I know that there's something that I need to be able to present to the world that we all could hear that could help me too. All right. I want to help everybody. I want to help all of us. With this week being incredibly full, I also taught a boot camp, and my boot camp was 4 days in a row, Monday through Thursday at 7 p.m. Amongst being a mother, amongst running a business, I have been showing up in a lot of different ways, and I've been sewing my pageant outfits. So I've been being stretched in many, many different ways, which is why I even started this podcast. Carry Less Live is so much more important than just getting on camera and trying to be cute and be philosophical. This is really like a release for me, and I like to watch it back so that I can get my own little tips about how did I survive that week? What did she do that week? Because we do a lot. You ever have those moments where you feel like life is just going on and you don't even know how you're navigating it all? That's what I feel like happened this week. Like, before I looked around, it was Friday and I was like, oh my goodness, I have a show to get through. But the thing that I wanted to talk about was that it's not going to always look like what you thought it was. We have these images in our mind of what we want our life to look like. And then sometimes life just throw you something and you be like, okay. So I like to start out the show talking about something that made me smile. And since I've been on target of keeping up with this, it's become a routine in my household that Friday mornings we get up, we set up the lights, and my son helps me to get the show started on Friday mornings. And this morning, because I was up in the middle of the night with Coco, she's medicated right now, but it was a bit heavy yesterday trying to get her comfortable so she could sleep. And I didn't feel like getting up and going live today. I'm gonna be honest with you. If I could have stayed in the bed until it was time for me to take my kids to school, that's what I wanted to do. And the something that made me smile was the fact that my son came in my room at 5:30 a.m. and he said, "Ma, it's Friday. We got to shoot the show." And I was just like, okay. And in my spirit, I was crying. But on the surface, I was like, okay, thank you. I told you to hold me accountable. And that made me smile because we're teaching our children how to show up and be responsible and be accountable. And it means something to me that this show means something to him. And I had to pivot a lot this morning because of the dog, because of them starting school this week. And I'm doing the show solo right now, but in no way do I feel like I'm doing it alone. I am so grateful that my kids and my loved ones can watch this and tune in and be here with me while we're going through this journey together, because that's what I do it for. I do it for everybody, including myself. So that's my something that made me smile today. I just want you to know that if you're a mother and you don't think that you're making an impact by something that doesn't seem very big, understand that it's big in your children's lives. They're watching you. It's important that you show up. It's important that you give them the best version of you, and don't disappoint them if you can help it. I know that we're not perfect and this show is not perfect, but that's what it's about. It's about continuing to show up, whether things are at the perfect time or whether things are set up correctly, but giving it your best. And although I didn't necessarily feel ready, I still showed up. So what does that look like from a bigger scale? With me having the boot camp this week, I had to show up for clients that I physically had to do because I do micro locks and sister locks. And then I was teaching all week. And my commitment to teaching this week really meant that I had to do it from wherever I was. So while my kids went back to school, my son is also in band. On my last day, or no, not the last day, on Wednesday, I had to start teaching from the parking lot of the school because he wasn't out of band practice yet. And that meant that I had to be the person to show up wherever I was. When my son was, when he was at band practice, they were supposed to be done at 6:30. So my boot camp started at 7 p.m. So I'm like, okay, cool. At 7 p.m., I can be home and settled and at my desk and getting everything together. No. At 7 p.m. we were still in the parking lot. But one of the things that I did when I was creating this boot camp and when I was envisioning my second version of life, we're always trying to upgrade our life. I was thinking about what did I want to do if I didn't have to be behind the salon chair. And so for me, I love teaching. I love helping people learn things. I also love doing things in front of the camera. I like modeling. I love traveling. And so one of the things that I wanted to do was have a fusion of being able to teach people and travel at the same time. Have you guys ever caught like those TikTok lives? I don't see too much on Instagram, but like those TikTok lives where people will be in Thailand or something and they're like teaching you something of like how to live abroad from a beach or something like that. You guys ever seen that? If you have, just type it in the chat, beach, right? So I saw those, or I've seen them a lot, and I've always wondered like, okay, how does that feel? Not how do you, how does that feel to be able to get up and teach from a beach, right? Like you're on a Zoom call, you're teaching from a cabana on the beach, and maybe you're just teaching people how to do content, but I always wanted that feeling. And so when I was still stuck at the parking lot at the school waiting for my son and I had to teach this class on Wednesday, I was like, you know what? Let's figure this thing out. We're going to set up the phone. I have a little, a little tripod thing in my car for my phone. So I set the little tripod thing up on the phone and I was like, okay, cool. We're going to do this Zoom call from the parking lot. This is a preview into the life that I'm asking God to help provide for me. I want to be able to be that traveling teacher that can teach from anywhere in the world where I can still show up and give the people the value that they need. And that was the first preview into it may work out. And again, it didn't look like what I thought it was going to look like because doing a virtual boot camp, I had my desk set up. I had my perfect little background screenshot set up, for, the Zoom background set up. And I just knew that this is what it was going to look like. But that's not what happened. Okay, that's not what happened. And sometimes we have to give ourselves permission to be okay with the pivot. And I know if this is your first time joining me, we're going to do a little piece in the show called Permission Slip because I love to give myself visual reminders. But that was one of my internal permission slips that I wrote for myself that day, that it's okay that you're not set up in the perfect setting where you don't have your Zoom background, where you feel like you're not all put together like you normally would be, because you are the sauce. And maybe somebody needs to hear that. You are the sauce. It's not the things that are around you. It's not what you have in your possession. It's who you are. So remember that when you're going through your day. Remember that when things are not going the way that you had thought that they were going to go. Just keep giving it your best. Keep showing up as your best. And that is what matters most. I promise you, my student did not care nothing about me being in the car taking this Zoom call. She wanted the information that she came for. And that was to learn how to be a better loctician. Did that. Equally, yesterday we had the surgery for Coco Sparkle, and I told y'all it was a rough night. She was not cooperating. I was home. I thought I was going to be able to sit at my desk, get nice and comfy and have my background and all this stuff. No, I had to lay on the bed with her like she was an infant, because anytime I walked away from her and I was sitting at my desk, which is not too far from my bed, but as I'm sitting at my desk, she was like whimpering and crying and trying to move around, and her leg just got cut on, and it was a lot. It was a whole lot. But I'm here to tell the story, and I just want to remind somebody that professionalism don't always mean that you're pretending to be perfect. Your real life is still happening even while you're trying to be professional. So how many times have you decided that you couldn't do something because it didn't look the right way? I know when I was supposed to start this podcast a year ago, I didn't do it because it didn't seem like it looked right. I don't have the aesthetic white couch, or I didn't have the perfect setup. I didn't have this. I didn't have that. It's so many things that we can point out that are not right. And it deters us from actually showing up and giving it our best. And I don't want to be that person that says I tried, but I didn't really try because it didn't look like what I thought it was going to look like. Or that person that says, oh, I'm going to start when things calm down, or I'm going to do this when I have more money, or I'm going to do this when life looks like this. Who told you what it's supposed to look like? Something in your subconscious, something that you saw, something that you made to be law for what you want to do in your life. Stop doing that. Just stop doing it. And I think sometimes we actually need to learn to carry less of what we thought the picture was supposed to look like, or less of what other people told us it should look like, and start leaning in more to what we feel authentically and let it happen. Just do the thing. So 3 things I learned about being fluid this week. The first thing is that the goal and the method, they're not the same thing. The goal for me was to teach the boot camp, right? That was the goal. The goal was to teach the boot camp. The method, the original method that I wanted to use was, set up this perfect station, have everything right, be, strictly to the point, follow the slideshow, perfectly. Like, that's what I wanted to do. But that's not what happened. The location changed, but my commitment to teaching the boot camp did not change. So what are you abandoning that you don't need to, simply because of what you're thinking about it? Allow yourself some room to pivot. Number 2, being present is more important than being perfect. I'm going to say that again. Being present is more important than being perfect. I think about when I'm a single mom, and sometimes the other parties are not as helpful as they should be. And I think about conversations that we have where they say things like, well, I don't have this, I don't have that, so I didn't show up. No, that's not what kids care about. Kids care about you showing up and being here. Your presence is a present. It doesn't have to be perfect. Think about some of the best gifts that people have given you before that sometimes they don't even have time, a chance to wrap it. Sometimes those things are the best gifts ever, but because it came from them, it's the heart behind it. It's the actual presence of it being in your presence that makes it perfect. So stop trying to be so perfect all the time and just be present. Give them you. And give them the best version of you. We waste too much time trying to think about how somebody wants us to show up, that we forget that we have to show up and enjoy the moment. So that's number 2. Being present is more important than being perfect. Number 3 is give yourself permission to pivot without calling it failure. All of the things I had to pivot today, even showing up late to do my live today, all of those pivots, okay? It ain't a failure because guess what? I'm still doing it. Episode 4 is still happening as we're speaking. We're still in it, okay? The body is tired. The dog is medicated, okay? But we're here. We're getting it done. I'm showing up. I'm giving you the best that I got to give. And somebody watching this needs to know that you can keep showing up no matter what's going on. Give yourself permission to pivot. It don't mean that you're failing. Just pivot. It's okay. Now, because we talked about permission, I'm going to grab my handy dandy permission jar. So if this is your first time joining me, this is my permission slip jar. In it, I have all of the lovely things that typically we need to hear. I don't know which one I'm going to pull out. It's a bunch of little ones in here. And every week when I pull a permission slip, it snatched my edges. So let's prepare for the edges to be snatched. Let's see what we got going on in here. Oh, well, this one just jumped out, didn't it? Okay. I give myself permission to say no. I give myself permission to say no. I think this had to do with what I have going on for this weekend. I had several invitations to several different things that I'm supposed to do this weekend. And because I am still in recovery mode with my mamas, because I'm still in recovery mode, I have to give myself permission to say no to a lot of things this weekend, where normally it would be a very busy, fun, active weekend, but other things take precedence. So what do you need to give yourself permission to say no to this week? Perhaps this can help you out, and if you need that permission, I give it to you. So give yourself permission to say no this week. I think it's helpful to not say yes to everything, because sometimes that's how we get burnt out, and we don't want to get burnt out, okay? I want to leave you with a little sparkle challenge. I want you to think about something that you've been avoiding doing, or something that you wanted to do, but because you don't have all of the pieces in place and it doesn't feel like it looks like what it should, I want to challenge you to try it anyway. One of my favorite songs is Do It Anyway by Erica Mason. Like, I play that song all the time because she talks about how she didn't have this, she didn't have that, but she did it anyway. She talks about not having money in the bank, talks about not knowing the right people, or not having everything she needed to have, and she still did it anyway. And I want to empower you to do it anyway. Maybe you can't go to the gym for a whole hour, but maybe you can take 15 minutes to just do a walk. Maybe you were wanting to work on your book that you've been supposed to writing for a while, and maybe you can't sit down and write a whole chapter, but you can write 2 pages. Maybe it's 1 page. What can you pivot? What's one tiny thing that you can do today to get you to your next best version, or get you to completion of a task that's been on your mind for a while? Stop overthinking it. Just get to doing. Find another way to make it happen. Are you committed to the outcome, or are you committed to the picture of what the outcome looks like, or that it was supposed to be? Which one are you committed to? Because that's going to make a big difference. I want you to be committed to what the outcome is going to be, and not what the look of the outcome should look like. Because a lot of times we get to the thing and it don't even look like what we were envisioning a year ago. So sit in that. Pivot if you need to pivot. Just keep trying, keep showing up, do it anyway. Now, an effort, that's not what I want to say, child. When I tell y'all I'm sleep deprived, tired, and all of the things, because I'm tired, okay? Sometimes I feel like I'm just doing too much. And if you're that person that's ever been called too much, if you're that person that ever feels like you're doing too much, and I want you to join my team Too Much. My team Too Much is my official campaign for my pageant sponsorship. I'm competing for Miss Exquisite Full Figure USA. This is NCR, the North Capital Region, and part of that is a lot of preparation. So if you would like to join in my preparation of helping me to prepare for the crown, I would love for you to support my campaign. There's a QR code on the screen. Get you a t-shirt and just support your future Miss Exquisite. Now that we got that out the way, I do want to Now that we got that out of the way, I do want to say thank you for spending a little bit of your morning with me, or whenever you're watching this or listening to this. I want to say it means the world to me that you take the time out to even click on this, watch it through. I love to hear your feedback. Let me know if these 3 tips help you this week, or did you need to hear you have permission to say no this week? What was your best part of the show? What could I improve on? What are you looking forward to? And if you guys want me to start taking guests, drop that in the chat too. I'm here for it. I'm strong enough to take it. Okay. But I want to say I love you on purpose. Thank you so very much for spending some of your precious time with me. I don't take it for granted. I'm about to hop off of here and go be a mama, even though she's pretty much good. Thank you. And make sure that you're keeping your commitment to yourself this week. Make sure you don't allow the pivot to make you call it failure. So until then, I want to leave you with a little bit of my sparkle. I want to leave you with a little bit of my love. I will see you guys next week, and have the most amazing week ever. I love you on purpose. Bye.